Hello everybody, I'm Kate Cass, and welcome to the latest First Impressions video, which are my somewhat scripted, but probably not as much as they should be, initial thoughts on Wandavision. The very first of these Disney Plus series they're making for the Marvel Cinematic Universe to coincide with it. And after 18 months without a proper official Marvel Cinematic Universe property of any kind, outside of, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or something, this is a really interesting one to come back to the universe with. I remember seeing the concepts and stuff for WandaVision and how it was going to be like this surreal, old-time TV show, sitcom style kind of thing, and I had no idea what to really expect from it, mainly because technically one of the characters died in Infinity War, so anytime they announced this project or talked about it, I was always wondering what the heck was going on? How is this possible? But now, having watched the first 3 episodes, which are what are currently out at the moment, I did not expect to be so charmed and enamored by this premise and how they present it. It is so damn charming. They play the whole sitcom thing so straight that it's kind of surreal. If the camera quality wasn't so good, I would have believed this was made 40 to 60 years ago. That's how good they do it. It's not tongue-in-cheek about the whole thing. It's not oh, why are there people laughing? Or where's the fourth wall? Or, it doesn't joke about how TV shows were framed and acted back then. They play it so straight. It's crazy. For the first 20 minutes of almost any of the episodes so far, you could easily label it as a what-if story. Everything from the performances to the presentation to even the premises just feel like they were ripped straight out of The Dick Van Dyke Show or Bewitched or, The Brady Bunch. It's kind of nuts. I was not expecting it to be this sincere. The second episode has Vision accidentally swallowing a piece of gum, which literally grinds his gears, and it causes him to malfunction and not think clearly to the point that he appears drunk. That's the kind of level of quirk we're dealing with here. And it's delightful. And it's not just that, there's amazing details of bringing the classic sitcom style to life. From the incredibly accurate theme song sequences. The Bewitched one is probably my personal favorite so far though, because that animation is just so adorable. I could easily see those caricatures of Vision and Wanda being put on t-shirts or something. Even the effects are so bare bones when they really don't need to be, but it just adds to the authenticity of all this. Wanda's magic just being things levitating on strings or basic cut and editing tricks, and things like Vision's face changing and phasing just having a few animated sparkles to match the transitions and such, to things like the fashion styles from the black and white 50s all the way to the colorized 70s being accurate to a T, and things like Elizabeth Olsen and Paul Bettany's performances where they have got that old cheesy sitcom comedy acting style down packed. The inflections, the eye rolls, the quirky exaggerated body languages, this whole premise works way better than I expected it to. Thanks in large part to, again, just how straight they play all of this, but also I think a good chunk of that has to do with Elizabeth Olsen and Paul Bettany's general chemistry. I've never been crazy about the Vision and Wanda romance. I know it's a thing from the comics, but in the MCU at least, since he's a robot, I always thought it was kind of weird, again, even though it's a comics thing, but the warmth and charm they exude in both of these episodes makes me root for it a lot more. And the funny thing is, as weird as I think the pairing of Wanda as Vision is just conceptually, I don't think it would have worked with any other romantic pairing out there. The funny thing is, a weird couple like Vision and Wanda kind of fits perfectly into this old style of sitcom where most of them had this one bit of the premise that could add to the jokes that was a bit weirder, that could make standard suburban life more eccentric and therefore create more jokes. Stuff like, Mr. Ed or Bewitched, which they pay homage to, or even stuff like My Favorite Martian. A witch and a robot getting married and moving to the suburbs really does feel like a wacky premise for an old-timey sitcom. That's the thing I wasn't expecting with WandaVision. It's just fun. I'm one of those people who loves those old sitcoms from the 50s all the way to the 90s and even to now. You know, I don't mind The Big Bang Theory. I know a lot of people do, but I don't. So I just really found how sincere and straight and authentically they played all of this up to this point. Really surprising and so damn charming. Not to mention they've got a great supporting cast to bounce off of. They don't get as much time as Vision and Wanda do, but everyone you really remember. It was amazing to see sitcom veterans like Deborah Jo Rupp. Kathryn Hahn is fabulous as the pushy next door neighbor / best friend archetype, and Teyonah Parris gets a nice introduction and gets a pretty challenging part come episode 3. And something that's also delightfully genuine about WandaVision is that the episodes are only 30 minutes long. I did not expect that, but thank freaking God. It doesn't, not only adds to the legit nature of this series in terms of being a satire / homage to traditional sitcoms, but it's just kind of nice to have a superhero show that only asks for half an hour of your time and takes advantage of every minute. Honestly, it makes me way more open to binging and rewatching the show when the whole thing's done. And that sincerity of the sitcom setting and just how much they are dedicated to making it as true to life to that traditional format as they are really makes the moments where reality starts to bleed in, sometimes literally, feel very off-putting, but like in a really good way. At the time of episode 3, we have a bit of a hint of what's going on, but still not much. They haven't told us outright yet. But the times where, like, there's spooky interruptions, or like a message trying to go through, or where a character realizes that something's off about Vision and Wanda, and not really in the traditional way, but like, they're not supposed to be here. Moments like that get very tense and really creepy, especially moments like the end of episode 1 where a character almost dies because he starts asking too many questions, or when Wanda starts rewinding things when people realize that things are a bit off, or that this isn't where they're supposed to be or what they're supposed to be doing, or the end of episode 3, which I'm not going to go in detail about, but it's really where, you know, the sincerity might not be lasting much longer, which for some people is probably going to be a relief, because this is definitely a slow burning show. Like, again, we're 3 episodes deep into what I think is going to be a 9-episode series, and we still don't know anything. Most of what we know would come from if you were paying attention to, like, the press junkets and, you know, the promotional materials and what people have said in interviews and such. You know, I remember when this project was first announced that I thought it maybe was putting Wanda under some kind of trap or something. You know, like Batman the Animated Series did an episode about Batman being put in a dream, so did Supergirl, and I think they did it to Superman at one point. I can't remember if it was in the animated series or in Justice League, but I know they did it, where like, you get your utopia, but you're just stuck in there in your own mind forever. That's what I thought this was gonna be, and I don't really know how true. I'm starting to think Wanda is more in control of the situation, whatever it is, because whenever reality tries to bleed in, it feels like she's the one who warps it back as if nothing's wrong, or, you know, whatever weird thing there was there, don't worry about it. Like, she's expelled anything that's tried to get in the way of what could be a perfect life for her. We're getting dangerously close to House of M territory here, and personally, I'm here for it. I can't wait till this all comes crashing down. I know a lot of people are just considering this too much of a slow burn and just want to get to the answers and the action, but for me, I've really loved this concept so far, a lot more than I thought I would in the months leading up to its release, and I cannot wait to see what else it has to offer. I'm almost kind of disappointed that we're going to get away from the straight, sincere sitcom setup, because it just works so well for these two, and the production team did an amazing job bringing it to life so far. I know we've at least got one more episode, because we still got to get to that Halloween stuff they've been promoting, before we really bleed out of this and get to the root of it all. I'm not going to theorize much about it on here, just in case I ever do a full review on these series, but I am in the strange place of being intrigued and wanting to know what's going on, but being perfectly happy to spend as much time in the sitcom setting as possible. It's been really delightful so far. I did not expect to enjoy WandaVision as much as I did. I was just waiting for Falcon and the Winter Soldier, frankly. But so far, I'm having a great time, and I'm going to try to wrap it up here because I've got a stopwatch next to me. I didn't want this to be over 20 minutes. I wanted to keep it brief. Don't know how well I did, but, you guys can tell me. This is going to be the only first impressions video for WandaVision. I'm not going to do it with the other episodes, but depending on how those other episodes play out, and if I think I can put it into the To Infinity War and Beyond format, I'll include it in that. I'll keep you guys posted on what I decide to do. Or maybe I'll do a community post. Maybe we'll do a poll on if you guys want a full, proper review on WandaVision once the whole thing has concluded. But in the meantime, yeah, I'm enjoying WandaVision a lot. Maybe it's just because the premise is so different from what Marvel Studios has done up to this point, or maybe it's because it's been almost 18 months since we've had a new MCU property, and I'll openly take what I can get. But so far, I find WandaVision to be refreshing, creative, and highly rewatchable. I can't wait to see where it goes from here. So yeah, that might be a bit more rambly than normal, but again, most of what I love about WandaVision so far is like in broad strokes, and I wrote most of these notes before episode 3 came out, so there's not much about that. That's kind of why. But in the meantime, yeah, I hope you enjoyed these quick thoughts. What did you think of WandaVision? What do you think is going on? What do you hope to see from the show in the future? And again, I'll probably do a poll on this in like a few weeks or so when the whole show's done. But, if you want me to do a full review of it for To Infinity War and Beyond, let me know. But right now, the plan is to do first impressions for the first couple of episodes of the Disney Plus Marvel shows we'll be getting in 2021. So expect one of these for Falcon and the Winter Soldier as well. In the meantime, though, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.